This is way better than we originally thought, as we get some comments from some rookies at rookie camp this weekend that will surprise Rangers fans. And some of these updates from camp will have Rangers fans absolutely fired up for this season to begin. We're going to break down exactly what these updates are and what some of the prospects said this weekend, because some of them are transitioning from prospects to full-time NHLers. We're going to break down exactly what this means for the organization in this episode of Rangers Digest. But before we do that, a quick reminder to hit that subscribe button. About 77% of you who watch these videos are not subscribed to the channel. So if you want to stay up to date with everything that's happening with the New York Rangers, this channel is built for blue shirt fandom, and it's the place to be for all your breaking news with the Rangers and all your Rangers coverage throughout the year. But Bret, let's get right into it. We have some really good updates from rookie camp, development camp, whatever you want to call it at this point. A lot of different teams are calling it different things at this point. So we do have an update on Noah Laba, and we touched on him in our last video and how there's a lot of hype around him right now. And I have to give credit to a couple guys on Twitter in NYR, Louis, Bald Panarin. They've been singing some of the praises for a while at this point, based on, his short stint in the AHL at the end of last year. But you can see here from a lot of people, including Mark on Twitter here, a lot of people are predicting that Laba could make this team out of camp. Now, of course, we have to see him in regular training camp, in main camp with some of the other NHL guys and how he shapes up. But listen, this guy is 6'2", 210 pounds. You can see here from the photo, he looks absolutely jacked, ready to go. If you watch some of the videos that Vince Mercogliano is putting out there on Twitter of some of the drills, he looks head and shoulders above a lot of guys already. Like, he took his summer very seriously, and what he showed in the AHL last year, I think, is not a coincidence. He was put on a line alongside Brendan Othmann and Gabe Perreault. That speaks volumes to what the organization thinks of him. He's playing with the best players in this camp. So, Bret, what do you make of all of this? Because I think that this is the new dark horse to make this team.
Absolutely a dark horse, Darius. It is getting more apparent by the day as we go along here when it comes to Noah Laba. Certainly a sleeper on my radar. We've been analyzing these prospects the entire offseason, doing our research on these guys, watching and monitoring them very closely. And Noah Laba, I certainly did not have him on my bingo card in terms of being a front runner, not even a dark horse at this point, Darius. He is a front runner to make the New York Rangers. We've spoken about Gabe Perreault. We've spoken about Brendan Othmann and Scott Morrow, who we will get to in this video as well. But it seems like Brendan Othmann is the fourth guy on that list. You have to take him very seriously. You mentioned it, playing in between Othmann and Perreault on that first line. And you alluded to it off the air, Darius. You said this guy looks absolutely yoked, and he
Yeah.
really does. 22 years old. Just look at his frame. Look at his stature, his shoulders take up nearly the entire frame here. He looks older than 22 just because of that shape and condition that he's in. You see a lot of these younger players, under 200 pounds. You see Gabe Perreault, he was just 170 pounds. He got up to 180 pounds this offseason. Even Brendan Othmann putting on 5 to 10 pounds as well. Still not 200 pounds. But guys like Noah Laba and even Malcolm Spence, who we've spoken about as well, their frame is very impressive. They have an NHL ready body. And not only that, Darius, the stats back it up when it comes to Noah Laba. You look at him in college, basically a point per game player. Not only that, had some good moments with the AHL last season with the Hartford Wolfpack in a small sample size, just 11 games of professional experience. He was a half point per game player. But it's not the offense in particular that you look at when it comes to Noah Laba. This is a two-way center. Make no mistake about it. He is big. He is physical. He does it in the O zone and the D zone. He is going to produce, but his numbers are not going to jump off the charts. That's not exactly what you're expecting out of this player. You're expecting a player that will take advantage of his opportunities, but hold it down on defense. Not only that, his face-off win percentage is very, very good. 57% win, face-off percentage. That is very impressive. You look at guys like JT Miller on the Rangers with a 58% win percentage since coming back to the Rangers. when that trade happened. So very impressive stuff from Laba, and he looks good in camp, Darius. He really does.
Absolutely. And like you alluded to, if you're hovering around 60% in the faceoff dot, you're borderline elite in that regard. So again, he hasn't done it at the NHL level, but ladies and gentlemen, keep an eye, I'm telling you, over the next couple of weeks on on Noah Laba, excuse me, because I think that this is a dark horse to make the team. And if he doesn't make the team, if there is an injury in season, he will be called up, and I would be shocked if we ever see him in the AHL ever again after that, because I think that he is here and playing for keeps. And like you alluded to, a lot of people were shocked with his performance in the AHL last year, at the end of last year. We didn't cover it too much on the channel because it was just a short stint, but he was half a point a game player, and a lot of people were like, whoa, this guy does not look like he is out of place whatsoever. And like you alluded to as well, like, you could look at his hockey DB page. They have him listed at 190. So that just goes to show what he did this summer. He took it very seriously. He's 210 pounds now, and he's 6'2". He can definitely play in the NHL. And again, go check out some of those clips. I think he's going to be a really special player. And a lot of people are saying here, you can see from NYR Louis that, he was top 8 in the NCAA in, entries and exits with possession, ahead of names like Ryan Leonard, who is in the NHL right now, and Oliver Moore, who is a big name as well, a prospect in the league. So really, really good stats there for Noah Laba. Very excited for him. But let's move on to another prospect that I think has a really good chance to make the team as well, and that is Scott Morrow. We've been talking about him through the summer since that trade with the Carolina Hurricanes. He said that, and this is the first time he's talking to the New York media, of course, with this rookie camp, and he said he grew up a Flyers fan because of his father. His father was drafted there, but obviously has traded all of that stuff in for the Rangers red, blue, and white at this point. And, he said that, he's coming with a lot of NHL experience at this point. He has some playoff experience, right? Especially for a younger guy. I shouldn't say a lot. It's a smaller sample size, but for a guy his age, like, it's pretty good, especially for an offensive defenseman. And, he had a chance to score on the Rangers last year, didn't. He was saying that he was hoping he could have done that. He's very excited to be here. He was surprised to hear that he was being traded. He's taking his training very seriously. He's another guy I'm excited for. Bret, what do you think of Scott Morrow and some of the comments over the last couple of days?
Yeah, well, when it comes to Scott Morrow, I'm going to make it as simple as possible. 14 games for the Carolina Hurricanes last year, total of 6 points, also nearly a half point per game player as a defenseman. Let's put it this way, Darius. If he would have played a full 82 game slate, at this pace, he would have ended the season as the second highest point scorer behind Adam Fox in terms of defensemen. That's including Vladislav Gavrikov. Now, you don't need Vladislav Gavrikov to be an offensive, threat, but he can do it. He can produce some points, but you brought him in to be a defensive, specialist, to be a shutdown defenseman next to Adam Fox, a guy that's going to be great on the penalty kill. But what you're getting in Scott Morrow on that third line is you're getting a player that has great offensive upside as a defenseman. We saw what he did in college. We continue to see him elevate his game in terms of defense, and it gives the Rangers a second power play quarterback option. You understand that Adam Fox is going to continue to be the quarterback on that first power play unit, as he should. But the Rangers are searching who could be that second quarterback. We've heard Braden Schneider. We've heard some other names. But Scott Morrow is certainly a top contender. Braden Schneider's not a bad choice. I like Braden Schneider, what he could do on the offensive end. But Scott Morrow, it seems to come a little bit more natural to him on the offensive side of the puck. You see how he can handle that puck on a string, very calm with the puck. So that's why I believe he's a great quarterback option on that second power play. And like I said, his defense is getting better. You mentioned his dad was drafted by the Flyers, never made the NHL. He was, made it to the AHL, but still gonna have to get rid of all that Flyers gear because you're a Ranger now, and we do not like the Flyers, we do not like the Islanders, and we do not like the Devils. So no Flyers gear in that house. And one more thing on Noah Laba, I just forgot to say earlier is, I'm a big fan of Dylan Robrick, who we're going to speak about as well and have spoken about. I like that he has a lot of professional experience under his belt. I like his size. I like the idea of a line of him, Adam Edstrom, Matt Rempe one day, because we know that Sam Carrick, his contract will be coming to an end shortly. He's on that second year of a 3-year contract. But there's one thing you can't dispute when it comes to the Laba Robrick debate. It's that Laba's ceiling is higher. I can't lie. I have to be honest about it. I like what Robrick brings to the table. I like his stability. I like what he's done at every level, but Laba has a little bit of a higher ceiling, and that's what's exciting when it comes to him and possibly making this Rangers team. Not only that, Darius, but he has a real shot because the Rangers don't have a real, certified third line center. He may
That's right.
just have to beat out a guy like Juuso Parssinen, which I'm a fan of Parssinen, but to be honest with you, it might not be that hard to do. It might not be that hard to beat out a guy like Juuso Parssinen.
Yeah, no disrespect to Parsonen, but I think that the bar is very low there. I think that Laba is very explosive. He can play a two-way game, and he has the size now. He can play in the NHL. I do believe that. So we'll see if he makes the team. I don't think it's a bad thing if he goes to the AHL, but I think that he has a real shot now, and we're seeing it in real time in the prospect camp. I couldn't say this a month ago, but I can definitely say it now. And one last thing on Scott Morrow before we wrap up, because he did have some more comments and talking about making the team and work ethic and stuff like that. He said that coming off my first year pro, and this is from Wally Walker, by the way, and obviously that playoff experience, he played against the Florida Panthers. Let's not forget that last year in the Eastern Conference Final, where I was pretty close to going to the Stanley Cup Final and kind of got our butts kicked a little bit. I was already very motivated, but I think that there was a little extra 1%. It means a lot to me being around here. Obviously, he's from, the area, obviously grew up a Flyers fan, and getting a chance to play for the Rangers, thinking about potentially being in Madison Square Garden definitely just gave me a little extra 1% when I'm sucking it up in the workouts and stuff. So he's putting in the work. He wants to make the NHL. He has some NHL experience. I think that's pretty exciting. And I'm glad that he acknowledged that he's no longer a Flyers fan because, of course, like you alluded to, not a fan of those guys here on the channel. But let us know how you feel about all of that in the comments. I think Matthew Laba, he's exciting. I think fans should be absolutely excited about it. I want to see what he does in camp. I think he has a real shot to make the team. We'll see how that plays out. And Scott Morrow as well. The conversation always continues there. You can also find us on X. The link is in the description. The conversation continues there as well. So give us a shout over there. But let us know how you feel in the comments about everything we covered today. And if you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button so you can stay up to date with everything New York Rangers.